Thank you. Where'd you get that from? A color on here?
She was coloring at the doctor's. That's where she got chalk and markers all over her hand.
Look.
It's really good. Okay, I gotta get up at 12 o'clock next month.
Does this take off?
I don't think no, I think it's safe.
Yeah, just bite it. It's yummy.
It's not like an Oreo.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like yummy chocolate in the middle. All right, AK's got to go back to work, so say bye. Happy birthday. Thank you. It was good seeing you, AK.
Bye, Lucia.
No.
Oh,
Oh. Chichi, are you working? Oh.
AK.
Hey, how are you?
Gigi, you at work?
Hey, Dominic.
How's it going?
Good. Happy
Wait a
Thursday.
second, I got the kids here.
He gave me
Okay.
one.
I gotta jump on a call, guys.
All right, you guys want to leave?
Bye, buddy. Happy birthday. Bye, Cheech.
No. What are we gonna do? Dad's working.
I wanna go.
I'll be right here. I'm gonna wait for people to jump on.
Sounds good.
Can I go on that board, Daddy? Daddy,
What?
that board?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I unrace the full stuff on it?
Yeah. Here, take that out there.
What?
Is that all yours?
You can write on it.
Is
Just
that
don't
all-
erase it. Good. Okay. I gotta get going. Hey, Scott.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Dominic?
Going well. I got the kids here. It's my son's birthday. Hey, Renee.
Oh, happy birthday.
Trying to get him out.
How old?
He turned 5 today.
Oh, happy birthday. That's exciting.
Then this one.
It's big.
Almost 2. Hey, you can't take all my pets. Okay, here you go. Yeah. I don't know how people can work from home.
With toddlers, it's hard. With teenagers, it isn't too bad.
Yeah.
They're mostly in the
They
room anyway.
stay away from you quite a bit.
Scott, hey, Brent. Barry,
How's it going?
we'll give people a few more minutes, but Scott, if you want to just telling people what you do here real quick. I'm going to put my thing on mute so you guys don't hear it.
Sure. Nice to meet everybody. My name's Scott Keller. Dominic and I met about a week or 2 ago, and actually Renee and I happened to cross each other the other week too. So good to see you again, Renee. And so Dominic invited me to jump on for a few minutes just to share what I do in case it might be of interest to anybody else. So I'm a fractional CFO. Recently I started Path Predict with the purpose to provide a CFO staffing solution, a CFO solution to staffing and recruiting firms. So essentially I work with staffing recruiting firms that are in the, a couple $1 million in revenue up to say $30 million, and provides them, we provide a 6-step method where we provide strategic and financial planning. Basically we map out your financial path to the goals. We work through with the metrics that you need in order to track your path or track your progression to those goals. We bring in financial tools to help you understand what's happening in the business so that you know what the next 12 months look like for cash, profitability, when can you hire the next recruiter, when can you bring on the next credential, when do you need factoring, some of those different financial factors in the business. And then it provides you access to a CFO that's experienced with staff and recruiting on a monthly basis. And then at the end of the 12-month program, we do a deep dive recap. So what happened over the last 12 months? What are the wins, the losses, the why, the how, and really feed that back into the financial machine of the business. So you're increasing the financial knowledge around the business and improving the financial planning and forecasting within the business. So yeah, it's really bringing the CFO solution to staffing and recruiting firms at an appropriate level that's to match what their needs are. I don't know
That's
if you
awesome.
have any questions or any thoughts.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people have questions. They always ask me, when should I bring on another recruiter, right? And I usually say 200K, but I'm just curious to see what anyone else thinks about that. And I think a lot of people in here, Scott, mostly in direct hires, direct hire staff, direct hire placements, yeah. But I'm adding staffing this year, big time. We're ramping it up. There's a couple meetings in Vegas coming up for that, so that's why I'm glad to meet with you, because I used to do the staffing piece and I need to add it back for the residual piece so we can keep growing. Otherwise, you got nothing to sell besides your name. Like right now, if I wanted to sell, what are they gonna buy? They're gonna buy me, right? My connections, my network. That's it. There's nothing to sell down the road, but I want to start prepping for that. I'm adding staffing. But it's a whole nother animal. There's a lot of, if anybody who's done staffing before in here, do you know, Renee?
15 years engineering and technology roles.
Whole nother animal.
Oh, yeah.
Whole nother animal. But yeah, if anybody is to that point and wants to chat with Scott, if you want to put your information in the
Yeah,
chat.
thanks for the reminder. I was about to, I had that ready and then started chatting. So yeah, if anybody's interested in talking at all or you can go out on my website. There's some information out there as well. And even if it's just to talk about how it may, what it could do for your business. Happy to have the conversation. It might work today. It might work tomorrow. Yeah, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Dom.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thanks.
Hey, guys. So, Renee, how do you know him?
He reached out to me. I had a call with him either earlier this week or last week. It was last week I spoke with him, I think. And he mentioned he was going to be on.
Yeah.
So, small world.
So, good stuff. Back to BD. I was just talking to a couple of recruiters this morning. They're like, yeah, I'm struggling with BD. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about on this call? And I think just going back to the basics sometimes, there's everyone's like, oh, I need to use this automation tool. I need to use this tool. Kelly, I know you've been doing well lately. What's been working for you?
It's funny, I was just on a call yesterday with another recruiting group that I'm part of. I've kind of outsourced the actual pick up the phone cold calling to set up appointments. But one of the things that I'm, kind of put my head on this year is, I use ChatGPT to just find, I'm in Phoenix, so obviously there's a lot of conferences that occur out here. So, my plan is at least once a month to attend one of these big conferences. And, obviously we all kind of have our specific niche, but spend a lot of time in aviation, of course, logistics, transportation. And there's something to be said about getting out there in front of people and selling yourself and still having those personal relationships, because I do feel as though the cold email and even the automation is getting a little bit convoluted in this space. So I think one of the things that even today I'm headed out to a network meeting and really just going back to old school, handing out business cards and building relationships like that. So that in and of itself, I think is gonna change the game. But also, like Dominic and I spoke before about, is just being consistent with posting, LinkedIn and sharing updates about the industry to let people know that you are the expert, and that definitely gets some residuals on its own. So.
100% agree. Like, I'm going to Vegas for Manifest, which was one of the biggest supply chain logistics conferences. And it's I'm going Sunday, but it's from Monday to Wednesday. My day is booked from 7 a.m. to dinner, and I have the after parties after, which is where all the deals happen. But like here's a perfect example where you're talking about constantly posting, right? I have two private equity guys, the biggest supply chain and logistics portfolio companies they're like, Dom, I want to meet with you when we're there. I'm like, perfect. Those are the two main reasons why I wanted to go there, and they reached out to me, so it's even better. But I'm excited for this event. Yeah, it's just getting out there, and I was telling Zach this morning that's all our business development is. It's all networking connections, and that's it. Like, I don't really have to pick up the phone to do the cold calls. And I mean, would I do that if I had to in the beginning? Yeah, absolutely, whatever it takes. But here's what about who else? Tim, are you having any success right now?
Yeah, it's actually been really busy. I actually started using, I've always been picking up the phone to set up appointments, and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm using more messaging with Calendly, and people have been setting up my calendar. It's unbelievable. This last week I had eight people set appointments up, and I'm like, it's just my messaging that I'm using with, the job and first connection requests. And then not only that, utilizing Loxo to its fullest as far as its campaigns. I mean, I sent about 300 or 400 over the last week, but the idea is when they respond back, whether they're open positions or they're business development, it's just like I send them a quick link to my calendar and say, please set some time up. And I've always had to make that time. I've made the calendar myself. So I have 2025. I'm actually trying to look at different resources, so it's all scheduled. So that's kind of my world. I've always had to create those. So it's been pretty beneficial.
How about you, Brent?
Good. I imagine you're just going around talking about biz dev.
Yeah, just seeing where you're
Okay,
let me show this slide.
Yeah, I'm right now I'm still in the wrong way, just working with this one client. He's keeping me plenty busy, but definitely need to do a lot more just to keep this close. I'm not going to have a valley after this client goes dry, but right, she's got about 25 roles that she needs to fill, and so that's my priority.
Oh, well then that's top priority right now.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. It's a Series A startup, so I could get a call tomorrow saying, "Oh, it's changed," and this is going on, and it's a painful experience because their processes aren't defined. So it's a lot of account management and having those conversations where you kind of sound like a dick, but you gotta.
Well, that's the way you frame it. It's the way you frame it. Yeah. You just be a consultative sales approach. Zach Jocks, I don't think he's on right now, but he's dealing with the exact same thing. And I go, Zach, you're a one-man band. I go, get maybe 3 clients for situations that happen like that. It's like, hey, you put all your eggs in one basket, and the next thing you know, boom, everything stops. So now what? Mm-hmm. Now you got to go back to BD. That's why I always tell people you constantly do in BD. And just if you can't take it on, don't take it on. I'm saying that even though I got so many freaking roles open right now, so that's not probably a bad example. How about you, Buck?
Been doing a lot of NPC marketing. I have been like working. I've take call transcription, resume, throw it into typing mod GPT. I got on Typing Mind, and then just kind of tweak it. And I've also been getting really great lists of companies to go after that I'm not finding anywhere else by using just like continuing to prompt. One of the AI platforms. I mean, I actually started using DeepSeek this past week, and holy shit, dude, it's so much better. Like, it just shits all over anything else. I can show you guys an example of like just getting a LinkedIn post, having a craft LinkedIn post. Like, I prompted it to do a pretty in-depth LinkedIn post, and like the difference between Gemini, ChatGPT, and DeepSeek, it's night and day, man. And that's the same thing like with. I haven't used it as much because I just haven't built the GPTs. I don't know if you can in there, but it's man, I think that one's going to be a game changer. So if anybody hasn't looked into DeepSeek yet, I highly recommend.
Good stuff.
But yeah, NPC's been good.
Here's an example of an NPC that I just did. Let me see if I can pull it over there. 1 second. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Short, sweet, to the point. Boom. Who is their current employer? 3PL, space trucking, both. And then now we're on a call for tomorrow. So, but do you see? Remember, I was telling you guys, C-suite, they don't care about their grant. Look at how they respond. That's it. That's every single one of them. That's not. I mean, at least in my space, supply chain logistics. I'm pretty sure it's in every space, but be wondering in your spaces, what does it look like? Because that's the kind of replies I get all the time. There's no like, hey, how are you? It's straight to the point.
That's what I get.
Yeah.
Although, good for you. I've had like
Yeah.
one response out of so many emails. I've got 6 MPC campaigns going in. It's still crickets, you know. It's about timing and if they have the need. But
Yeah. How about you, Barry? You on? Cassie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can. We can hear you, Barry. Hello?
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm running email campaigns on using ListKit. I have about 30 inboxes. And I'm getting the list from a guy who he has all the optometry and ophthalmology emails in the country. So I've had some luck with that, finding candidates. I've grown my client list. I've added 2 clients, one in New Hampshire, one in Virginia. So just it's hard finding candidates. I'm finding clients, but it's tough with the candidates. Also doing LinkedIn automation, and I started targeting 4th year optometry students through there. But I just started that a couple days ago.
That's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah, yours is tough.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm also having a challenging time with candidates right now. Like, I'm maybe it's certain industries, but the candidates just seem like they're getting money thrown at them to stay right now, and legal at least. So it's been hard.
Well, a good way to go on that is, all right, take 3 examples, send it to your client. Here's a person at, like, let's say the base salary was 120 to 150. Here's one at 175, 200. Here's one at 130, 140. Here's the difference, what you get. And that just worked for us. And guess who they went with? The most expensive person. You know? So you show them, like, here's what you get in this market.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to tell them, like, this is here's all the data. Go try and find it yourself. That's the reason why you reached out to me. Cassie, how about you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's exactly what we've been doing in the food manufacturing. It's like they all want to go low. It's like a maintenance manager making 120 and they're looking for a senior maintenance manager. It's like, no, 140. If you want someone that's going to have it, they're, you know, and we submit them and they will look at them and interview them. And, you know, there's potential that they don't mind, but they always say, oh, we're firm at this. And then you throw a resume out there. They're like, well, we haven't seen anybody come across like this. Well, there's a reason for it. So anyways, that's just the food industry.
Yeah, because they weren't looking, and it's not one of the 1,000 resumes that when you post that job that applied to that role.
Yeah.
You know. How about you, Cassie?
Yeah, honestly, I can relate a lot to Tim on some of our controls manager roles of what he just said there. But as far as business development, we're starting an email campaign, and we're looking to also outsource some of the calling or messaging, and they're saying that text message is the way to go now. So we're going to try that out and just see what kind of response we get. But this is our first real attempt to do any outside BD that's not just word of mouth. So it's rather new to me, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, what I would do too is anybody that you placed over the years, reach out to them.
That's exactly. We have a list of 20,000 people, right? And that's where we're gonna go. So I'm just gonna text all of them, I guess. So not all at once, obviously, but
yeah. Was that last Friday, Tim? We were talking about texting, or I think you got off the call. What were they concerned about doing that? It's illegal in some states or whatever?
Yeah, well, That was on the recording side of it because I record everything.
Yeah.
From a text management, yeah, I mean, there are some things you got to worry about, but you know, it all depends on what system you're using. I use Loxo, and I create a campaign, and I use my text messages within the campaign. So I'll send emails, then it'll go to a text, and then it might go to another email, or you know, from that standpoint. So I'm mixing it up, and you know what? I do get people responding on the text. They still seem like, you know, after the second or third, I get on the emails, it's a 50-50, you know.
Okay.
So but I mean, I'm happy. Hey, that's 50% more I wouldn't get, you know, if I did send a text message. So you know, I think they have that where depending on what system you're using, they'll say, do you want to unsubscribe and stuff like that on your text message. So
Yeah.
whether they accept you or not, but I haven't really had it.
I don't even think that works though, because I get a million calls from the same people every time I say opt out, take me off the list.
Yep.
Um,
I just basically want an answer, yes or no. We'll move
Right.
on. I don't care how it gets. So if it's a text message, I have one person, a VP of quality, bitch at me on a Sunday afternoon because I sent her a text message, and I said, I have
Yeah.
5 other calls lined up today. I apologize for bothering you on a day that you might be available. But
Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
well. Oh well.
and I said, oh, don't worry about it. I got you off my list. Have a wonderful 2025.
Well, there you go. I'm gonna be sending one of these to Brent. If anyone else, I have one left. It's a package to go through your whole. It's a EOS traction, and then this is to get a grip on your business. It's pretty amazing. I wish I actually should try to scan it in, and I can send it to all you guys.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was
It's,
good. It showed me. I've just been shooting from the hip, and it definitely showed me, highlighted a lot of things. It's like, okay, I need to get this in order. I need to get that in order. You know.
Yeah, and that's totally separate from this. This is something else I'm going to send you, Brent, which
Okay.
will help you.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted your address. So going back to the basics, right? How many people have an elevator pitch set up? If you had 30 seconds on a call with somebody, what are you going to say? You have that set up? I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people do, right? Key tasks. Whoever wants this, I'll send it to you right after this call. Just put your email in the chat. A lot of the stuff you can find online anyways. But for me, I think I get to talk to, and I record all these calls. Maybe one of these next calls, I'll bring on one of the guys who's never made less than 300K in sales since 1996. And I record all these calls, and I would love for you guys just to hear, because it's no different in any industry. Just the way that he says it, the way he frames it, it's amazing. So craft your elevator pitch, which I'll send all those to you. I'm not going to read it. But as you can see, brief, clear, specific. So yeah, just put your email in there. I'll send all this to you. But what I think is working for me right now is just tapping into, I don't know what's happening, but we're just getting, like, here, let me show you this. I'll send everyone this. Just put your email in. But like something like this. This is what I was getting today. Oh my gosh. That's what you want to see. Stuff like that. That's kind of my business development. But that's a candidate, but that's same thing on the BD side.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think Kelly, you nailed it. Like, if we're going on to this event, depending on how many clients I pull from this one event, which I think will be at least 3 to 4, I have a list here of 10 supply chain logistics conferences, e-commerce. So they're all Manifest, ProMat, RILA, Gartner, WERC, CSCMP, NRF, Shop Talk, and TPM. So I would just look in your industry and just see like what events are, some of them are free. Like the one that I'm going to, very expensive. It's $3,000 a ticket, but worth it. You know, not to mention you get to go to Vegas for 5 days. Well, what are some things you're struggling with, Renee? Like, what do you said you're not getting anything back right now? Is that
On the FNC campaigns, yeah, it's been crickets for a while. I mean, my industry is, you know, the SaaS tech startups, SMBs, and a lot of them they've just been in a holding pattern for a long time or trying to hire through their own networks. So I'm still a little, anything I've had like 5 customers that have tabled and kind of put things on the back burner until like maybe March or so. So it's slow for me in that regard, where I'm, you know, really trying to drum up some new business because all my current people are just kind of hanging tight. So no, I've got like 6 MBC campaigns going on. With, you know, really phenomenal candidates. It's just, you know, a matter of placing them, and it's a timing thing.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I've got a lot of email campaigns and LinkedIn, and, you know, the sequencing between email and LinkedIn and all that going on.
What kind of results are you getting on email campaigns? Like, what's your numbers?
Well, I'm just integrating the email into it. Most of it's through LinkedIn. So I've got sequencing through Talent, and then I'm working with somebody. We're building out, you know, the messaging. You know, we're trying different things just to see if we can.
Oh, I wanted to show you
that way. So I'm going to start adding it in the emails because it can scrape for that data.
I want to show you guys this. This is pretty cool. Where'd it go? So BSV Logistics, one of my biggest clients. They're huge, global, 90,000 plus employees. They just bought DB Schenker. So this guy reaches out to me because I already I built so many offices for these guys. So I just put his profile in Perplexity and then just said, what skills does Nick? So before, I was busy that day, so didn't have time to really research him. It literally pulled all this data for me right here, and then, you know, just what previous companies he was at and why did it make sense for him to go over here, which I ended up asking him anyways. And then from there, we always do this. We build out a ICP for each role. You don't steal my client.
Yeah, you know, I know that guy already.
Yeah, I know. So that's what we just build an ICP for each candidate that we're looking for. Behind that, 61 openings right now. Are we gonna fill them all? Probably not. Some of them are going to be tough. They're long term. A lot of them we are people in the final stages. Some of them are confidential searches, which this is the first for me. Like we had to have them sign an NDA before even meet with the company, even telling them about the company. So we couldn't even explain anything to them until they signed an NDA. I was like, oh, that's different.
Did that make it challenging to get people to accept? Was it, or would they?
Yeah, because this is a high level position. At first, they're like, I'm not going to talk. I mean, these are past cadence. I'm not going to talk to you unless you know the company. So kind of went back to the company, but you know, AK ended up getting like 9 people submitted. So I'm like, well, whatever you did, it worked. Good job.
Wow.
Actually, Emily asked him, hey, AK. Here it comes. When you had to submit those roles for the confidential search, what did you do that worked?
When I had to submit.
Because you couldn't tell the people about the role, right?
So let's see. I'll tell you what I said.
Don't say the company out loud. Obviously, we're just recorded.
I said reaching out as I've got a confidential senior director of operations leadership role open that's so intriguing it feels like I'm recruiting for a secret mission. Think big impact, exciting challenges, and a salary range of 200K plus bonus. Seeking candidates within the transportation logistics space with previous automotive and leadership experience. I'm not one to keep secrets, so let's connect and I'll share everything that I can except the secret sauce and maybe even that. Interested in hearing more, or should I call James Bond instead?
So something totally different that I wouldn't even do, right?
Yeah.
Like, we would just go, hey, I have this role open. Here's the base comp. Let me know if you're interested. Short to the point. But he got, I think, 9 people submitted within a week, and I was like, "What'd you do?" He's great. He's amazing on the recruiting side. Kills it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wouldn't even have thought to put that. I think he used ChatGPT for that and said, "Come up with something creative to get these guys to respond," and it worked. You know, we got, I think, 3 of them that are in the final. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 in the final stage right now. And it's
you gotta be good at what you do. I tried doing that too. I said add a little comedy relief, you know, for a position, and it was crickets.
yeah.
Then I said another campaign. I got like 5 people, and I'm like, it was just nuts and bolts, just like you, Dom. It was just like, this is the role, this is the what they're looking for, this is the experience they're looking for. It was like 20 words or less, and I got like a lot of people responded to that. But when I added, you know, humor to it, I don't know. People aren't funny, I guess, in the food industry. I don't know, but I worked for plant managers. I thought for sure they'd have to have a sense of humor with everything, all the BS they had to deal with.
Yeah, probably miserable all day, so they don't want to even respond.
Yeah, exactly. But no, they're short, simple, sweet, get to the point. Let's move on. So
Yeah. Hey, Zach, how are you? Oh, I got the Ohio shirt on. Love it.
Yeah. Hey, sorry guys. I joined last week and I was sick and just kind of listened. But I saw Dominic on Ben Mena's conference and pinged him and I'd join and looking for help with BD.
These are come and go as you please. Whenever you got time, they're all recorded, all out there. But if you want to put your email in here, I'll send you a couple things after this. But what's working for you right now? Anything working? Are you struggling?
Yeah, you know, so I'll be honest, I was kind of like, I was busy with filling roles and then stopped doing BD for a few months toward the end of last year. And right now I'm kind of caught up. So I'm doing, I'm producing a industry specific, really like a workforce insight report that's about 30 pages. It's our second annual one. It has salaries specific. We're in healthcare IT. So we do mostly Epic, which is a large electronic medical record system that a lot of the big hospitals use. And we do contract and direct placement for those roles, PMO roles within hospital systems, and then also kind of broader than that, even some of our academic medical center clients will use us for like managers of different departments within their IT enterprise. But yeah, so really I'm producing that report right now. I have somebody helping me work on it, a consultant who's working on it, a marketing consultant. And I'm hoping to get that out in March by March 6th, which is when there's a big industry conference out in Vegas, and I'm gonna start like really hitting it hard there. But right now I'm kind of in like the mode of like getting that done, but also doing specific outreach to set up meetings while I'm out there.
How much are you paying a lot for this consulting report?
Yeah, this one
try AI yet?
I did do AI. I messed with AI a little bit, and I still use AI like to do some of the copy. But the people reading the report, like I did it last year, I outsourced it, and I paid like $5,000 to have this thing produced. I collected all the data. I produced the survey and actually promoted the survey within the industry. And we have about 285 respondents last year. This year we're about like 330. And we closed it. I'm paying somebody to not necessarily do, somebody's doing the copy, somebody's doing the design, and then I'm more involved this year. But I think it's going to overall, without me factoring my time in, I think this year it's going to cost me about anywhere between 15 and 20,000.
Jeez. When you're done with that report, call me and I'll show you if you're going to use the same thing for next year.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to do it within 2 seconds.
Okay. I will.
I just did
I'll
this for a
definitely do that.
CFO, and he was like, Dom, how'd you do that? Well, I got everything API hooked in, and this is connecting to CB Insights, which is connecting to all of it, right? And you just Clay's going through and scraping, boom, whatever you need. And I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty insane.
That's
How many
awesome.
people use Clay on here?
I've used it.
No. Or Devin, you do?
I got an
I do.
intro with it. I'm like very novice, but I'm learning. I'm trying the best I can. It's like over my head sometimes. The enrichments, like I'm diving into those. But it builds incredible lists so far. Like that's the basics. I'm using it for company lists. I'm trying to figure out how to best like scrape it. If you guys have tips on how to like scrape it to find those job openings, I think Harry on that Benjamin podcast was or the summit was talking about that part. I'm trying to figure that out.
Here, I'll give you
I
a
should just demo.
faster option instead of you trying to learn it and figure it all out because it's not even worth it because it's over my head. It's been like, all right, just here. So you go on the Clay Slack channel and you literally post on there what you want done, and you watch how many people reach out to you. These guys will do it for cheap because they're all in Pakistan, they're India, do it for nothing. But they'll tell them exactly what you want and they'll set it up. Well, and some of them already specialize in. I got on a call with the main guy at Slack, and the minimum client that he works with is 20K a month. And he gave me all this information. He's like, just go on the Clay Slack channel, talk to these guys. They're trying to come up and get some customers. So like work a deal with them. Say, hey, I'll help you. I'll introduce you to people, but you got to do mine. Like I've never paid for any of this stuff because I just have them work with me. And if I like them, and I'll say, hey, come on here and introduce yourself. And if it can help anyone else. But I've never paid for anything. Email, LinkedIn, none of it.
Wow. You said
If you pay,
Slack.
yeah.
Slack. Okay.
If you go on Clay, here, let me see if I can find it.
I've also side note, but for scraping sites, in the past I used something called Browse AI, and it would connect in with like I think Zapier, and then it would populate a Google Doc for me. But I would basically go to the websites, train this robot. That's actually very easy. It sounds much more complex than it is. You just you click like record, and then you do the activity that you want it to do on the page, and then you hit stop, and then it's trained. So then like you can set like a cadence, like every Sunday night I want it to check for new jobs on this website, and it'll like populate your Google Doc or your Excel doc.
What's that called?
Whatever. It's called Browse AI.
I'm surprised I don't know about that one. Have you heard of Cursor AI?
No.
So actually, Renee, that's a guy I'd love to introduce you to. He's a 32-year-old, his name's Ian Feeney, 32-year-old billionaire. I got on a call with him. I go, hey, can I stop you and record this call? And he goes, yeah, no problem. So this guy's 32, he's a billionaire. Started off as a recruiting firm like all of us. What he did is he went after tech-savvy founders in the SaaS space. And then what he would do is he would go in there and place the first 5-10 people. And they would go to seed stage funding rounds and they would get, let's say, 30 million, right? And they would say, oh, Ian, I need you to help recruit 15, 20 more people. Here you go, hold on. I got these other guys over here that want me to recruit for them. But what he did specifically, he only went and found the captains at all the Ivy League schools, Yale, Harvard, Stanford, brought them in Stanford and New York only. That was his niche market. Look him up. Then look at his LinkedIn profile. The guy's insane. I'll send you the video because I recorded it. I was like, this is brilliant. So let's say he had $200,000 in fees coming in, and he'd say, hold on, I'll trade you for class. I'll give you $100,000, but I want $100,000 in Class A warrant common stock, which retired him on Snowflake, Ironclad, Cursor AI. And I was like, shit, I've been targeting all the big companies. What am I doing? I wish I would have knew about that 10 years ago. But I think that was a brilliant model. And so I told somebody about it. They're like, well, is that holding them hostage? I'm like, no, it's a smart business play. Smart business play. They need you more than you need them. Especially when you got a good track record. If you look at his, here, I'll put his LinkedIn. The guy's, it took me a year to get this guy on the phone. So but super intelligent. I mean, the way that he frames it, whoever wants the video, I'll send it to you too.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I had to stop him. I'm like, yeah, can I please record this? Because nobody where I'm from like would have been taught this. I mean, you have to be an Ivy League person to know this.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
We don't learn that at Ohio State, Zach.
No, we don't.
We don't learn that at Ohio State.
Nope.
Speaking of BD, right? I was telling you about the recruiter I was talking to this morning, Zach. He goes, Dom, what should I do in this situation? I go, Zach, pick up the phone, call him. And he just texts me. He goes, Dad, will that work? I go, yeah. It's that simple sometimes. Just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You know, everybody just wants to send an email and wait around. It's like, no, pick up the phone.
Are any of you guys calling into like big $2 billion companies and calling cell phones of decision makers? Are you finding success doing that in this remote world?
I call cell phones all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. And then I'll shoot them a text and a LinkedIn message, and you just keep going until they tell me stop. And then I'll go to the next person.
And who are you reaching out to? Like the CEOs, VPs?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm always going for C-suite first.
Yeah.
Always. And usually CSO, CEO, COO, and then CFO if I have to. But then, or depending on how big the organization is, like, okay, let me see if none of those work, then I'll go to the head of talent.
And you use Clay to scrape for all of that?
Yeah, or you could just go on. I have Apollo too, or if you have Zoom Info, which if you go on some of these Facebook groups, you can get a Zoom Info seat because a lot of people bought all these seats and then now they can't afford them. So you can go on there and get a seat for like $1,500. It gives you the org chart of all the companies, which makes it, because I was trying to explain this to someone, hey, for a company like DSV that I work with, there are 90,000 employees. Good luck trying to find the decision makers in that specific division, right? Like I need the decision makers in the 4PL space and then also in the freight forwarding global solution space. And now he's like, Don, there's so many COOs, presidents. I go, yeah, because they have a ton of acquisitions. So it's hard for me to show someone how to do that. But yeah, if it's depending on the size of the company, go right to the top every time.
Yeah.
Ernie, how are you?
Hey, fine. How you doing? I was thinking
You
of
feeling better?
Zachary's question here, and I kind of call everybody. I got. It's funny. I look at all these cadences, sequences that people set up, and then I started just thinking. I'm trying to set one up. It goes on forever, like 20 different stages, and after they're dead, I'm still sequencing them, but it comes down to really, and I said in the old days, what you did was just pick up the damn phone, call them, and we're so hesitant to do that, to just call somebody, and you realize how many different ways you have of getting a phone number. And one of the ways that I find to be sometimes overlooked because we don't pay for it is True People Search, and True People Search has all their numbers, and better than a lot of the other places, but I don't know, you just don't ever forget some of the freebies, but True People Search is really cool. And
Yeah, that's a great point. I tell people that all the time. If you can't afford some of the tools yet, and before you go, there's a lot of, if you go to the Chrome store, there's a lot of free email finders, free this, you get 50 credits, 20 credits, whatever. Use all those up and then say, all right, let me go pay for Apollo.
Yeah, and as people start up too, it's like, what's your tech budget? You got to set a tech budget because you can get really crazy and just sign up for everything. We go after the shiny rock all the time. And
you're spot on. That was me last year. I didn't even know how much I was paying for stuff until my CPA was like, oh, here's what you were spending on software, tech, and tools. I'm like, so this one guy I was talking to, the recruiter, what he does is very smart. Every 6 months, he will call the credit card and say, I need a new card. I lost my card.
And he knows.
And then he'll see like, oh, okay, which ones was I actually using? What was I not using? And then he'll know for the next. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you only have one credit card. Exactly.
Yeah. But sometimes at the end of the year, you should list everything you signed up for. and then ask yourself, what was the purpose of it? And then in Excel spreadsheet, then say, why do I have 15 contact finders? And then just ask yourself, which ones am I actually using? Because I think as we are creatures of habit, and we go to certain ones first, then we forget about all the rest. And then sometimes you just decide, you know what? If I've used 3 of my contact finders and I haven't found this person, then maybe they're not worth it. Because after I spend a day trying to find them, then the guy tells me, I don't want to talk to you. So my heart's broken, but he just wasted a day.
Yeah,
that's true.
You're right. On the candidate side that you're struggling with, actually, before I do that, Ernie, thank you for sending me that link. If you want to put that in there and show these guys, because I'm sure a lot of you guys get reached out. Like, for example, I got, my wife tells everyone I'm a recruiter, right? So I got everyone calling me saying, hey, can you help me find a job? And I'm like, I don't do healthcare, this, that. But, this is why I like this group. It's like, okay, let me direct it off to Zach. Let me direct it off to Brent. Let me direct it off to Renee. Or if it's not even worth your time, then Ernie's got this link which taps into the top echelon big billers network.
Can I share it?
Yeah, put it in there.
Okay, I'm gonna put this first of all in the message, and all it is, it's my.
Is that exactly what Mike Stuck and all those guys do?
I'm not sure what exactly he did, but I'll tell you, it's kind of a crazy story, but I'd love to. Here, let me.
Because Mike Stuck was doing 1.6 million in splits last year.
Okay. What let's ignore that. Okay. This is my website, right? And everyone says, well, websites are like shit and whatever. Nobody ever goes to it. So he set up the website, and what I belong to is Top Echelon Network and Top Echelon Recruiter, and so what we figured out was, how do you, the scenario is this: your brother-in-law calls you, says, hey, I'm looking for a job. What do you do? I do whatever, but it's not what you do. But you're a recruiter, you're supposed to help them find a job. Or anybody, you can take that scenario onto friends, family, anyone. And so my thoughts are this: if you call me and you say, hey, I'm looking for a job, then if you went in here, let's see, my job seekers, did he mess with it? There you go. These are the jobs we have, and it's through Top Echelon, and I have 1,569 jobs, and I belong to a recruiter network, and I created a link that went into my network. So if I go in here and say I want plant manager, and I just hit it, it'll give me different jobs like this. So now you can think of whatever job you don't want. So what I do is I then use this here to get people to come to my resume. They look, my website, they look. But think of it this way: if you got to look at sources of streams of income. A lot of times, people on LinkedIn, other people will say, I'm looking for a job. Or you take a candidate that you've placed, that you're trying to place, if you say you're contingent or even retained. Second step is you got to figure out where else can I send them? I, as a contingent recruiter, will send you to company A, and then I'll keep my fingers crossed and pray that you will select my guy. But my thoughts are, why don't we create a website where you could send him after that? I'll send him to my company, but I'm going to send him to this website. And I have that. Now I invite all of you guys to use my website as a secondary, and just let me know what you have. And basically what I get is 47% of the placement fee. I'm working with other recruiters. I will give you 70% of that fee. I stay with 3%. All you're doing is telling somebody, go to this site, check it out, because all they do is they go in here. and they apply. Boom, boom, boom. It goes in. You let Ernie know that I just sent this guy to you. So if Billy Bob gets a job, then he's my boy. And you get 70% of the fee. I'll get 30. I'll get 15% or 30. 30% of that fee.
Ernie, you know what's a good idea for that? You should have Adam create this, put a drop down link. Hey, enter your name as a recruiter.
Yeah.
You won't even have to go back and say who's.
Okay, and so mind you guys, I work in a little different situation. I have people working with me, not for me. Nobody ever works for me, and they're all contingent recruiters. But I have Adam Palafox, who's my recruiter on this one, who decided I want to incorporate this and be part of the network. And he says we can do this, and I have no freaking idea what he was doing. I said I just recruit, man. I don't do shit. And he just said, let me take off with it. And I go for it, bro. And he did. And this is what he created. And I'm going, damn, this is a good way of creating a stream of income. Now, if you all go to Top Echelon and want to sign up for the network and all this other stuff, please mention my name, because I get referral for that. But anything, so please mention that. But you could set this up too as well. But think of it this way: this is a whole set of recruiters that are posting their jobs that you can't find anywhere else. So now, anytime I go into LinkedIn, somebody sends me something and says, hey, you're looking for a job? Check this out. Quick link, boom. Quick link, boom. And they may find something, but they're always appreciative. And especially when it's that guy that's the VP of Ops or that president of the company. Because at one time, they were the king of the hill, the queen of the hill, and now the receptionist isn't even calling them back. So all of a sudden, they're looking for friends. And I can tell you, I've helped people where now today I got 3 job orders from this company of this person that I've helped, and just staying with them and saying, hey, I care, check it out. And if you really think about it, doing it with me costs you actually no money at all. All you're doing is giving them my link and then letting me know, and we handle it all. So who knows? They apply, you make some money on the side, and who knows how it goes. But anyway, so that's what I shared with Domenic, because he had sent me. He said, I got it. He says, do you have any HR positions for this friend of mine? And I said, why don't you have him apply to this and see what he does? And you just forward him the link and say, look here. So at least you're helping somebody. And
Yeah.
So it's
I actually sent it to this guy this morning. He's like, thank you. He goes, there's a lot of roles. I go, I'm sure there is. And you'll find out how it works here soon.
You'll see. And we're just launching this, so it's starting out, and it's just an interesting thing to do. But it's really more a lesson for me. I've been doing this 27 years, 30 years, or whatever. But it's more a lesson of sometimes somebody has a vision or an idea, and you have no idea what the hell to do. But rather than you apply the brakes, let somebody go with it. Number one. Number two is, you may be a veteran recruiter, but sometimes when you get some young recruiters in here, they have some different ideas and they have some different thoughts that you could probably take and say, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. So just be open to ideas. And I tell you, without Adam doing this, I would not have this. But I'm pretty proud of his work. He did a good job. So that's it. And if you have any questions, you can find me on Facebook, or you can call me, or whatever. Pick up the phone. Any thoughts or any questions?
I like it.
I got one, Ernie.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of the network too. And do you just post on LinkedIn? Like, do you make LinkedIn posts maybe about here's my careers page? Because you see so many people. I've seen a lot more recruiters like say, do not advertise my positions. And I know Michael Stuck does it. Brad Dodge, I think, does it. Like, they'll advertise positions and things like that. Do you ever just for LinkedIn content purposes, hey, here's my careers page? Like, is that fine within this network? Like, sometimes I'm like scared to do that.
No, sometimes the thing you do whenever you get on the network is, number one, first thing you do, you see it, on any of these networks, you call up the recruiter, and then you say, "Hey, this is it." And your first call with the recruiter, if I'm calling a recruiter and they don't respond to me, I don't work on that job. But if they give me the lowdown, then we're working together. But you got to know, like how many people you got in that line right now. He says, "Well, I have 3 people during their final interview." Well, I don't want to mess with that. But if you say I have nobody and whatever, and then you kind of get specific what they want, but don't just send them anybody because it becomes a waste. But don't be afraid. And if they get upset, they get upset, and they'll tell you, and then you just say, "Cool, I'll have to
All right.
leave it at that." So
Yeah.
don't.
Mariah, she's amazing. She reached out to me for a role.
Oh.
She said, "Can you help me with this, Dom?" And I go, "Yeah." And made a placement with her. She sends me a nice gift. She sends me, a picture of it from their Christmas. I'm like, wow, you guys are. She's dialed in. She is like, if I was going to do splits, 100% work with her.
And I'll tell you with Mariah too, she's pretty a well veteran recruiter there, and she's done it. But what she also did that I thought was unique was she did a whenever you do this, whenever you post your job on the network, you have a lot of recruiters calling you, and you spend a lot of time talking to multiple recruiters. So what she did was she did a meet like this, and invited people to. She's going to talk about this one position and what she wanted and what she expects. So then there were 6 of us that joined that one just to see what she wanted, and then on top of it, she recorded it. So then she says, when somebody calls me and says, "Hey, well, what are you exactly looking for, Mariah?" He goes, "Here's the video. Listen to the video and call me back if you have any questions." But it was rather unique, and it's like, again, thinking outside the box with the tools that we have. And
that is brilliant.
Okay, so I'll pop off of this thing.
Look, about how many wins do you get a year in Top X1?
How many what?
How many wins a year?
It really depends on what you put into it. Recently, I've been putting most of my time into my own positions, but basically, you can send if you're actively looking. But it's especially helpful if you have a hard time getting job orders, and if you're in that position and want to say, "Hey, you know what? I need to find a different funnel here," and do it. And a lot of times, what I've told they do fees, and they have this whole period in which they have you wait and they have you go through the ringer there to find out whether or not you're legit. But I've had people tell me that when they mention my name, they just funnel them through. So if it's really a group of I like the way they work. I like the way they follow up, and it's legit. And really, the hardest thing is what happens if you make a placement with somebody you don't know and you don't get paid? They will follow up and they'll kick them out of the organization, which means it's money out of their pocket. And I've seen them do that. And they'll call you and they'll tell you, "Hey, you owe this dude money. What's going on?" So.
Yeah. Zach, there's a ton of healthcare roles in there too. And if you didn't want to go and advertise your own and spend your own money and put it on there, these people will go and like, I think Mike Stock spent, last time I talked to him, he was spending $60K a month to advertise other people's jobs, not even knowing if they have control of the process.
Wow.
Which is kind of amazing.
Okay.
You're like, Mike, you spent that much?
And there are guys that are $1 million billers on this thing in the last 12 months. They've perfected it, they know it, and the average is probably about 100,000. And it's just, and then the other thing too is you get not only like this group, you not only know how to recruit, but you get other ideas, not just how to network and send out, but all of a sudden you're talking to somebody, and I'm talking to Zach. I know who Brent is. I know who Devin is, and Casey, and I know these people, and I can call them and they say, "This is Ernie. Oh yeah, what's going on? What are you doing?" And all of a sudden, it's a whole different level of sharing, and that's really what you want. And a lot of times when you're dealing with these folks and they have jobs posted, they'll tell you, "I have jobs posted, but I go through a network all the time." But I haven't posted this job, but you get a head start on it. And that's with you can develop some real good partners, especially when you're in a funk. And so what do I do?
Yeah, it's and it's all who you reach out to, how much time you put into it.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's relationship building. That's what it is. And then you realize how much trust comes into it. And if you don't trust anybody, then this isn't it. Don't do any splits or anything with anybody. But if I usually trust people until there's a reason not to trust them. But we're a very, very trusting group of people that, and then you think, well, what do you mean? Well, you do a split with me and we make a placement for 30,000. You're going to send me a $15,000 check. And after a while, you're thinking, it's no big deal. But then you tell your neighbor or your cousin, hey, I just sent Ernie a $15,000 check. And they go, what? 15,000? And that's a lot of money. That's more than they make in 3 or 4 months. And you just got the money. So, it works. It's fun.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, thanks for sharing. I put that Slack channel on there, Devin.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just tell anybody can go in here, I think. Let me know if it doesn't let you in. I'll tell the guy to let you in. Just go in there and just say what you need and what you want to do with Clay, and they'll do it for you. So that way you don't have to spend time learning it. For me, it's like, I would love to learn it, but it's not worth my time. And I know how to use it. Just watch a few YouTube videos, know the basics, make sure you're not getting ripped off, but just like I said, have these people do it for free. And then I'll introduce them to people. Like Harry that spoke on at Ben's event. Before anyone was doing email campaigns, before he was even called acquired, he was doing all my stuff for free. But now look at him. Yeah, now look at him. He's huge. Do I still use him?
Yeah.
No.
I just restarted with him.
No. I don't, just because he got too big and everything gets delegated off now. I only want to work with people that started it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you guys a question? I know we have to hop, and I know that we're at the end here. I joined late, and I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
MPC stuff. Like here's what I found doing it. I found a ton of success doing it, but every client that I would pick up during that process was very transactional. They looked at me like a transactional recruiter, and when I would do a successful placement in like a 3-week period, which to me was like a huge win for them. They'd been looking for 5 months, and I filled it in 3 weeks, and then got the check. Everything's good, and then it's like they never use me again. They never answer me. They don't really talk to me. It's like nothing. Nothing happened.
They don't love
like,
you. They don't love you.
I got a logo. I got a logo that I can go pal around town, but I'm not like, I'm not really working with them. So, like, do you guys find that that's like the case when you when you enter a relationship in that manner, that it then just sort of, that's just how it works most of the time?
I've had it go both ways, Zach. One where it's still lasts to this day, and then one where it's like, hey, that's all we need right now. We usually keep it internal.
Yeah.
But we had struggling on this role, so I need your help.
Zach, I would also tell you, just remember the year. It was crazy and it was weird.
Yeah.
Number 2 is you're filling that one role, but are you asking him for additional roles? Are you talking to them and, are you creating a relationship with them? Like you're talking to the HR person or whatever number of people you want to just say, hey, how you doing? How's everything? Hey, let me ask you, do you live in Arizona? Yeah, I live here. Oh, I used to be there, blah, blah. And you create some sort of relationship, some sort of connection, so that and then you call yourself Zach the recruiter. I'm Zach the recruiter. And, and I kiddingly tell people, hey, we've talked already like for 2 hours or an hour or 15 minutes, but now we're like cousins. And they start laughing. Once you get to laugh, you then start connecting.
And bring that.
And they're pretty busy, but at the same time, most people working are stressed out.
Yeah.
And you can bring a smile to somebody because they'll look at the phone and see it's your name.
Yeah.
It's your decision at that point whether or not they pick it up. But if they pick it up,
And you know,
put on your game in terms of being nice.
Yeah.
And let
makes sense.
Yeah, and that's
I mean, I think
the difference.
It's funny because I sort of did my own like I did a little experiment where I stopped doing NPCs for a while after that, after I realized that was happening. And I started to do, okay, build the relationship first and then ask for the sale. And, you know, and start to like kind of, and it's like the long play and it's not working. It's like, you know, it's like they never like actually want to, you know, because there's no real urgency like there is when there's an NPC, right? Like when there's like a ad chasing situation, they have something they need and I can fill it. And so I don't know if it's like there's some combination of those two things that I need to do, but I don't know, you know, how to. That's what I'm balancing.
The other piece too is ask them, you know, if you're talking to HR, right? And then you just say, or even their VP of Ops or their plant manager, whoever you're talking to, just ask, is there anybody that you look to fire that I need to start looking for you, just to have them on board?
That's a good idea.
And they'll say, yeah, you know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I got one that he told me, look for my production. I need production supervisors. And then you, okay, has he got any openings? Nope, but I need them. So that tells me right there, without
That
saying, no, he's looking to fire somebody because he's not happy with the group he inherited.
Yeah.
So, you know, where can you improve? And then just remind him, look, hey, at the end of the day, it's all about the people I bring to you will help you grow your career. Because a lot of times you inherit a group of people that were the last job they had was they were the machine operator, and now they're your supervisor. And nobody likes them, and you don't like them. So, you know, it's all about how you improve your career.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
So you all of a sudden you become, you know, you tell them, hey, I'm your career coach, man. I'm helping you, and the only way we can do it is either you get top talent in there, and I'm going to help you bring top talent, or you're going to go somewhere else, and they'll let you know you didn't bring top talent.
I like that. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to sit down and dirty. You know, they forget, and a lot of times they think that they're hot stuff.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is you make more money than them.
Yeah, I know. I was complaining to my wife last night because I'm this big conference coming up, and you know I'm doing outreach, and not getting a ton of responses. But I saw one of the people I reached out to post on LinkedIn, and she wrote this whole thing. She's a CISO at a big hospital, and she wrote like this thing like, to the 70 vendors that have reached out to me to meet for 15 minutes at the conference. Yes, I'm speaking. No, I don't want to meet with you. Like it was like this whole thing like, you know, I go to these conferences to speak and to learn from my peers, not be sold to by vendors, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like this whole thing. And I'm like, I had this whole thing written to her, basically. There were all these comments, and they were all people kissing her butt. And I was going to be like, hey, like without these vendors that are trying to reach out to you are an essential part of the ecosystem. And as somebody who's provided for their family, you know, by being a vendor and a partner, you know, the more you embrace that ecosystem, the more successful you'll be in your career, you know. Like I was going to write something to her.
You take something like that, somebody writes something like that, they don't want to talk to you. So what I would do is have fun with it. And I just put, did somebody hurt you? You know?
Yeah. I was going to write. So
you need a hug?
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance, or? Yeah.
I'll tell them this. This is how I straight up say it on LinkedIn. You're either a partner or a source. And now I got the chip on my shoulder and I'm fucking going to make their lives miserable. I'm going to pull everyone out of there that I can until they feel that pain. And I'm going to keep pulling them. And then guess what? Now I'll reach back out to them. Hey, how much is it going to cost you now to backfill all those roles?
Yeah.
Like I'm fired up about it right now. Like just want to go crush somebody right now.
Zach, are you going to the conference?
What's that?
Zach, are you going to the conference?
I'm going to the conference. Yeah. Yeah.
I heard this about conferences, which is pretty good. At the end of those, you know, when you've got 4 people up on stage talking, at the end of the thing, all the vendors and everybody rushes up to talk to the speakers. That's the time to go to the moderator, because the moderators probably aren't talking to people, and it might not be somebody that you want to sell to, but like establishing a relationship with them, and like you can get that conversation and have 10 or 15 minute conversation, and like, okay, this moderator knows everybody, they definitely know the industry, and it's a good opportunity.
It's a good way to just connect, network. That's huge.
It's a slower thing, but
well, it's actually funny because I noticed that there's some people on my target list that are going to be attending that are moderating instead of being on the panel. So, maybe they'll get rushed into as well, but I'm going to try to do that for them for sure. That's good advice. Thanks, Brent.
Yeah. Do you work with any Seattle area hospitals?
Seattle?
Yeah.
No, the closest I work with Oregon Health and Science, University of Portland. But I haven't worked with anybody up in Seattle yet. It's a lot of Providence. Yeah.
If I hear anything, I'll let you know.
What areas, Zach?
What function?
My neighbor's pretty high up at one of the hospitals. It's Beaumont.
Yeah, Beaumont. Yeah, Spectrum. Now it's called Corwell.
Is it?
So I work with, so I actually used to work, I started my career at Henry Ford Health System in Detroit. So I've known a lot of the people up there. I don't know. I feel like with the Beaumont stuff, I'm all in IT basically. And they merged with Spectrum in Grand Rapids. And I feel like Spectrum had like the upper hand on that acquisition, that merger. So I feel like all the leadership is coming from that Spectrum Grand Rapids side for some reason. But yeah, I mean, anybody in IT, particularly in the EHR space, the electronic health record space, is kind of where I focus.
Let me see if my neighbor. I'll ask her.
Just go knock on her door right now. Take your camera.
I'm at home. I'm at my office, but she's awesome. She's high up there.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, it's so hard to crack. It's all relationships. Healthcare is like a very small niche. Like, it's weird because I can sell to anybody, but it's like when I break it down, it's really like there's like 250 accounts out there that I really want to sell to. And I mean, granted, like, so my best client though, I do like $1.5 million in top line revenue every year with, so like if I get in with one, I could really start to grow all around it, but it's just hard to do.
That's why you do it.
Yeah. But thank you guys for inviting me in, and I'm excited to join these calls.
When are you going to Vegas?
March 3rd through 6th, I think it is. Let me see. Is it 3rd a Monday?
So I'm going to Vegas this Sunday, but there's another one I'm going to go to. But that was March 2nd to 5th. It's in Long Beach, California.
Oh, nice. That's a logistics one.
Yeah.
Do you compete with like Brent or Suga?
He's more on I talk to him every day, but
really?
He's more on the brokerage side. Yeah, he's a psycho too. He's up at the gym at 3 a.m. just freaking
I follow him on. Yeah, he's nuts. Every day he's there.
He's a great guy, but I told him, like, I don't know how you deal with I don't know if you know about supply chain, but brokerage, it's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, how do you do this, dude? This is the worst space in the world.
I lived in Chicago for 4 years after college, and all my friends were in that, and it was just like, it was a lot.
Yeah, that's not what I do. Like, I have a few clients in that space, but I've never ran up against him. No, I ran up against Charlie Safro from CS Recruiting.
Yeah.
So never Brent yet. Oh, actually, yeah, one. We kicked him out of a company.
That feels good.
No, he's good. It's like we were talking about before. We were all super competitive, and we still are. But it's like there's a lot of candidates that he has that I can use. There's a lot of candidates that I have that he can use.
Yeah.
And he's just a one-man band now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
He was a
Is
one.
it-
Is he a one-man band because he had a lot of people before? It went down to one guy.
I'm sure he's hard to work for because
Yeah.
he's freaking intense,
Yeah,
very intense.
that's true.
Yeah. I could see that.
But
Or-
who knows? Okay, guys, I got to jump to another call here. Great seeing
Wow.
everyone.
Thank you.
Brent,
Yeah,
I'll try to get this out to you before I go to Vegas.
Yeah, no sweat, no sweat. I've got enough to chew on. I'm going through that document that you sent me, so it's all good.
Yeah, I got one more if anyone wants it.
What is it?
See you guys. And
Oh,
Devin,
it's
thanks for your
amazing.
feedback on that 7 placement.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh,
If
nice.
Zach doesn't want it, Dom, I'll take it.
No, you take it, Devin. Yeah. I'll look it up. Yeah.
Awesome
Devin?
connecting with you guys.
Devin, send me your address.
Okay. Okay. You want me to just put it right in here?
Yeah,
Or should I email
sure.
it to you directly?
Next time we'll talk about my trip to the championship.
Oh, you went?
Yeah. It was awesome.
You
Man,
It
guys
was
both
like,
Ohio State guys?
yeah.
Oh man.
It was
man,
like
they reach out to you, Zach. Do they reach out to you for money all the time or no?
Yeah, all the time, man.
Dude, this guy will not stop. What's his name?
I had a few of them.
Yeah, what's this guy's name? Fucking.
Yeah, they're
Oh, Marcus
they're pretty
Haskett.
aggressive. Marcus Haskett?
Haskett. Look at this guy
Oh,
just
Haskett?
nonstop messaging me.
He's texting you? Wow. Yeah,
Oh,
I get
no.
emails. I don't get texts.
He
Man.
he's like, I want. We were looking for a minimum of 100K. I'm like, dude, I got 3 kids. What are you talking about?
Yeah. What are you crazy? Is it like NIL? Like what are they trying to
Yeah.
get?
Well, I guess they're building a new facility.
They have so much money. It's like
I know.
Like,
I'm like, what are you talking? You guys got to. So
give me some money.
when I was I know, right? You guys should be helping us out. When I was there, I dated. I got in trouble for this. One of the biggest donors. Let me stop the recording. Hold on.